Well, good morning and welcome to this morning's reflection. So come on in and let's sit a while and share some thoughts about what it means to live a life that is rich and that is rooted in God. We are gifted with life by God. We have this tremendous gift, the gift of life, the gift of being able to live and experience both joy and pain. And we come into this world full of possibility and destined for joyful unveiling. And this person that we are created to be is glimpsed often in another person when we fall in love, or when we idealize a leader or romanticize an artist. This is the person who comes to life in us briefly as we get married, start a course in school, try out a new job. This person that we can see, this person we know we are, but sometimes is elusive. And yet sometimes we lose touch with that person completely when worry and cynicism set in. In fact, we chronically try for most of our lives to be someone other than our God-created self. We are persuaded that we are not adequate and that we should try to fit some idea of normality, some idea of normal health or correctedness. And as we try to do this, we find a cool distance which gradually develops and separates us from that deep internal person, that God-given personality. And we may forget both who we were and who we might be. Many of our problems, personal and social, are due to a loss of soul, to a loss of our God-given identity. We come to see that the soul is lost in our everyday lives whenever we try to force ourselves to fit in to some idea of that which is correct. And when this ever-created soul within us, this God-given person within us, is allowed to rise up from the deep reservoir of our lives, that deep space that is its home, we often then become unpredictable, and we are not easily squeezed into narrow expectations of what a person should be. If we suppress this deep vitality, and if we lose touch with our original God-given selves, we might well fall into depression. A depression that is not just personal, but that reflects the failure of this society, for all its praise of the individual, to nurture and support the wide-ranging possibilities of a human life. Generally, we try to make sense of life by constructing and outwardly fitting into external criteria and expectations, and we ignore the inner life. But the events of our lives, of our inner lives, do not vanish in our neglect, but rather this inner world gathers strength as it continues to influence us. But it is unfamiliar, but we rather are unfamiliar with its ways, and we are cut off from its progress. We have a sense of its ups and its downs, its moods and its emotions, which often seem to have very little connection to real life. And we try to control these vague sensations with medication or manipulation. rather than to make specific adjustments in response to their meaning. This God-given self has its own set of rules which are not the same as those of life. Unlike the steady progress of history, for instance, the events of the soul are cyclic and repetitive. Familiar themes come around again and again and again. We sense these emotions and the meanings of these emotions, and the pressures which they bring to bear are deep and can reach the very foundations of our existence. And so we need to become more deeply and more closely acquainted with the ways of the inner life, as we note them and take them seriously. In fact, dreams can turn our attention towards the inner world and can give us clues to the dynamics of the heart and the imagination. Moods, attitudes, influences, aspirations and fears all ask for a degree of sophistication in our response. We could contemplate them, discuss them, and educate ourselves in their intricacies and vagaries. Today, many people live the external life exclusively, and when the inner world erupts, what do? We rush to a therapist or a druggist for help so that they can try to explain this profound experience that we are having. And often we have no idea of what is happening within because we have been so cut off from the deep self, so cut off from God, that even our own souls are alien to us. In the past, we had methods of keeping in touch with this inner life, and these methods no longer exist. We used to keep diaries, extensive diaries, and write long and revealing letters, and enter into deep conversation. And all of this helped us to focus attention on the developments and the materials that lie beneath the surface of our lives. Without the benefits of typewriters and word processors, people really were able to express themselves in ways they rarely do today. Even poetry and serious literature can offer guidance and teach us about the inner life, often more than volumes of psychology. The ancient literatures of many traditions offer insights into the inner life and teach us how to sketch out our own spiritual autobiography instead of a resume of skills and facts. They are also able to show us that we are on a journey, and that the people who enter our lives and the events that take place in our lives have deep significance, often symbolic significance. And so we live in this space where the soul and our search for God cycles, twists and repeats, echoing ancient themes common to all human beings. We are always circling, we are always looking for home, we are always homesick as our soul yearns for God. May you be blessed today. Amen.